No problem.
Okay, there are 4 questions Swamin Hansa today. The first report. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Hansa. Most Venerable Swamin Hansa. I have been observing the behavior of my mind for few months, but I should say that I am not very observant throughout. I always observe the mind spontaneously when I get strong feelings such as anger, ego, greed over the food I like to eat, etc., etc. Other than that, I don't remember observing my mind. My question is, am I having less mindfulness and misses to observe the mind? Or am I in equanimity the rest of the time and not having a change in my mind?
That's all, right?
That's all.
It depends on you. I mean, if your mind feels comfortable and again free from thoughts, any thought, sometimes, then somewhat okay. I mean, otherwise, if you simply consider, say, only you are mindful during some strong emotions, that means less mindfulness. But on the other hand, in general, if your mind is very much empty, nothing is there. So that means you are already have something, in a sense you are able to maintain some inner silence. So that is more appropriate, more kind of a blessing. Otherwise, if you are in general, you have some inner chatter going on, and that is the typical behavior, but time to time you get some strong emotions, and at that time you being mindful, not enough. May I know? I mean, yeah. Okay. So what do you, which one is, which category you are?
I prefer the one which you said that being tranquil, but yeah, I wonder, no, inner chatter is less now,
Right.
and I could stay with few feelings coming in for half an hour or so, sometimes 1 hour,
Right.
depends. My mindfulness is really good.
Yeah.
And now I feel that proliferation has gone. Sometimes it happens,
But
it has reduced a lot.
you can recognize the absence of proliferation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder, because I almost never misses the strong feelings, like when I get angry, or I just feel that I am angry, but sometimes I think that I should tell this and I tell this.
Right.
So the strong feelings are, I know that it happens, and before it happens also I know.
No. Right.
But I recently had this doubt with having this equanimity on the other, and even sometimes when I just don't have feelings, I just think about it, and I just see that I'm okay, like nothing to think of.
Right.
But I think I might be in between both, I think, sometimes.
Maybe. The thing is, more and more, even when we recognize, okay, now the mind is little angry, I'm getting angry, but still sort of can't maintain that kind of a calmness, but we start to talk, start to react. So that indicates still the emotions are there, and they are overwhelming sometimes. So that happens. It's not an easy job. But slowly, if you feel, okay, previously I was spending a lot of time arguing internally, maybe burning.
Yeah.
Burning is staying for a long time, experience for a long time. But now not like that. Okay, now that period may be getting less and less. That means an improvement. They previously assumed that you encounter kind of a problem where you get angry, and you are experiencing that anger for, say, several hours maybe, but now it is not that long, so maybe 10 minutes or something like that. After that you are able to calm down yourself, come back to equanimity. So that's an improvement. So like that, actually we have to go through it, because we can't immediately get rid of anger. So we can't immediately overcome anger or any other emotion. So whenever they are coming up, so we have to carefully observe them, and sometimes they are overwhelming, so powerful, can't help. But slowly, as we are not feeling them, so they become weaker and weaker. Then we are in a better position Okay, now they are coming, I am fully aware, but not overwhelming me, not overpowering me. I am able to handle it. So, yeah.
Can there be a situation where me not being much mindful and I'm not noticing them?
It can happen. It can happen. That's a kind of mismatch, or kind of a missing of mindfulness or unmindfulness. So actually, Buddha relates this noticing all kinds of emotions, all kinds of, that's referred as pariyutthana kilesa. Because there are 3 levels that Buddha talks about, the kilesas, the defilements, the completely latent level, which we can't be aware, but we have to accept that it is there. So then it comes to the surface, that is the what you call the obsessional level, and then we are going for some sort of a transgression. That is the reactive level. So reactive level, of course, we can know, but the obsessional level also, as you said, sometimes can happen without our mindfulness. And Buddha mentioned that is one area that the Sotapanna will not have. Because that's a good reflection. Buddha asks us to see. Now, one quality of a Sotapanna is, without his knowledge, he may not go to this obsessional level. So, obsessional defilements can't have without his knowledge. It can happen, but under his knowledge. As you ask, is there a possibility of coming certain obsessional level and then we jump to the reactive level without our knowledge? That means absence of mindfulness, not completely. So that such incident can't happen to the Sotapanna. Till we become a Sotapanna, that means we need to admit, okay, that also can happen. Without our knowledge, I was emotional, I was reacting, I was in a, kind of a hurry, then I blasted.
Yeah. And sometimes I can stay for a long time, but some things really rub me and blast. That's the thing. So that's what I mean. As we are doing mindfulness, our mind becomes more sensitive, more aware of what's going on, and observing continuously about the state of the mind. Then slowly, even when a thought happens, then we are aware, okay, now it's going to react, now it's going to start the situation. Then we can calm down. If necessary, we can calm down. If we are in a good position, if we are mindfully, if we are strong, then as we are looking at it, it may calm down. But still, if we don't feel it's not necessary, if we feel it's not necessary, I better allow it to come out. It also can happen. So I'm going to react. I feel that I am correct, he's wrong. So I am not applying my brake.
Especially with my son.
That's the thing. So I feel more righteous. Okay, I better tell him. So then I allow the emotion to come out, to blast. So, on the other hand, I also was wondering, now there are real instances in the Vinaya, and Buddha blasting monks in a very, strong manner. Talking in a very, say for example, when a monk is in all its completely dirty thing, so he black art actually. So I was wondering how he has done that without in a kind of a anger. So, it's a kind of a situation, kind of a maturity. So without he feeling kind of an anger, but he used strong words, really strong words. So actually once, there is a kind of Casey, but his name is Casey, that is a horse tamer. So he come to meet Buddha, and Buddha asked from him, how are you taming horses? Then he mentioned, okay, I sometimes mildly tame them, use some mild words and mild techniques, and I am taming them. And then on other occasions I am using some hard techniques, I punish them and all sort of things, and then I tame them. And on other occasions I use both, mild and harsh, both. Then he asked the question from Buddha. The Buddha himself explaining, I also do the same thing. And not only that, then Casey mentioned I am killing the other, killing also forces which I can't do it. Then Buddha mentioned I do the same. I sometimes use mild words, mild techniques. I sometimes use harsh techniques. I sometimes use both, and I sometimes kill. Yeah. So killing in the sense that he give up. He no more going to advise and punish. So that's a kind of a killing of in the sasana. So that is something that means that Buddha accept that he uses harsh words because it's difficult. People are, you can understand the nature of the people. So you can't deal with mild words in a particular certain people. So you have to use harsh words. So that we have to admit. So how to use harsh words without inner anger? So this is a really interesting area to explore actually. We are reacting with not reacting maybe, we are acting with some kindness but still using harsh words. For the betterment of that particular person I am using harsh words, otherwise he will never ask, he will never accept. So I have to use harsh words, but knowing that I have no problem, I have no anger. Very interesting, how to handle these situations appropriately without inner kind of a burning. So therefore, if you are still, it doesn't mean that he become angry and emotional and then reacting. Rather, he knows, okay, this is the situation, now the guy is in this situation, I should not allow him to overpower me, rather I have to take the upper hand, let me blast him.
And the other thing I want to know from you, Swami Mahansa, is that when we are doing Vipassana, do we have to try always to observe the mind in every situation? Because the problem is we forget sometimes, and that's why.
Yeah. That's where, it may happen slowly. Now, it is not a kind of purposeful observation maybe. Now, say, while I am talking, so I have a kind of feeling about my mind. It has to be, then if I feeling little anger, if I feel little resistance, if I feel kind of inner emotion growing, I have to kind of an indication coming. It is not that I am talking a little bit and then pause and then observe. It's not like that. It's not like that. I am aware of my situation. Then it becomes more natural. I think it is growing. We can't say immediately we are getting that, but slowly it is growing. So that observant is kind of a ongoing process. Now people are talking like self-monitoring or something like that in the today's mindfulness terms. But Buddha mentioned this, paccavekkitta, kayena kammam katappam. So you have to reflect. Whenever you are doing some bodily activity, you have to reflect. While you are engaged with the bodily activity, you have to reflect. While you have completed the bodily activity, again you have to reflect. So Buddha repeat that for the verbal activities and the mental activities as well. So that means kind of a reflection. So kind of a consideration, kind of an observation. So it has to be a kind of an ongoing process because our minds are so fast, therefore it can't handle two processes very much like in parallel. Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes you react, then only immediately you feel
that is where the transformational level we immediately come without noticing the growing of the emotion. So quickly it has burst.
Is it not having my mindfulness?
No, that's the thing. So that is the thing. Typically, that is how we all start with. So we immediately react and later we regret. So then that means we are not enough mindful. And as we are growing mindfulness, then still we react knowingly. I know that I am now angry, but I can't stop him. I am blaming, but knowingly. No regrets maybe. Regrets also may happen. And that, by the way, reaction has happened under my supervision. Maybe little control is there. Later, inner burning is there. Really angry, but not reacting. Can stop myself. Later, that burning level reduce. Okay, I am not come to that threshold level. Maybe less burning, further less burning. So likewise, so the burning effect become less and less. But these things change, by the way. Depending on situation, assume that there are situations really bad situation, say then sometimes it's overwhelming immediately. But in general, I mean, good people.
Excuse me, Sir.
Yeah.
Generally good people, but how we can tolerate about country situations and those things?
Very difficult.
That's what I was thinking. How are you going to use mild words on such situation?
Knowingly use 4-letter words.
So that's the thing.
We become sort of mind and mind. We don't, I mean, only for a second, we are either.
Only for a
Session.
session.
Second.
Second.
But I know that with this, if I die, I will
Yes,
at once I can
Yeah.
ignore that.
So likewise, I mean, we have to. Now this is actually one method. This is actually one method understanding the disadvantages, adinava. So knowing adinava, knowing disadvantages, consequences, help us to avoid reaction. I mean, the quick reaction we can avoid because we reflect. Okay, is it suitable for me? I'm the one going to suffer. So likewise, we do various considerations. After with that such considerations, okay, I can calm down myself. So different methods actually Buddha mentioned.
Sakkaya Ditthi, if we attach to these things, and if we emotionally get these involved, that means we always think that me, mine, and all these things.
Definitely.
So because of, I think, meditation improved my life a lot.
Correct.
So I just
Actually,
know most of
yeah, whenever we are considering, okay, me and you, me and not me, so that means Sakkaya. So basically I consider here I am and here you are. So personality view. So that indicates the Sakkaya Ditthi. Yeah. No power cut by the way.
It's from 6 to, I think 3 to 6.
Really? I don't know.
3 to 5.
Swami Hansa doesn't get the fan. That's the problem.
Huh?
No,
Swami Hansa doesn't get the fan.
No, I am
You're
fine,
fit.
but I mean how about the Dhamma
Sure,
sermon?
it's
That
from
would be
3
very
to 5
good.
because yesterday same Pokandara and here same thing. So 3.
But actually we checked in the schedule,
And
CEB
then-
schedule, and it is actually this area belong to the group J. J. Whatever. So J actually is 1 to 3. 1 to 3 and then 6:40 to 7:40.
They will 150, they will consider now.
I see. Then almost 150.
115, 120 we can expect
I
up
don't
to
know whether we are in the
better
the-
level.
No. We are not. My
Sometimes it takes another like half an hour, like 1:30. Even they can.
They do. Okay. They are going to have a
Anytime
nap
they
and
want.
then
They
come.
will take another half an hour.
Half an hour. Oh. Good.
Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahansa. When I sit for anything like listening to Dhamma, sermon or meditate, I feel sleepy very soon. But this trouble I have as a nature. Even in the bus or any vehicle, I sleep if nobody speaks to me. But now, especially, listen to Dhamma sermon is a trouble for me. So I used to stand or walk while listening to a sermon. Is it all right to listen to a sermon while walking? Please let me know a remedy for this situation.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, rather than sleeping, better walk. Obvious. Because I mean, it may be true. Because I mean, one thing is I don't know who has written this. So basically, as we getting older, we are more prone to kind of a sleepiness and kind of a drowsiness, and the body aches and all these things. Nidra dashate. We are approaching that. I mean, when someone is getting older and older, there's another 10-year period is mentioned as Nidra dashate. Because most of the time, fellow is sleeping. Can't help. So this is the human nature.
not now only, from a young age I'm like that.
In the opposite direction. Opposite direction. So, by the way, I mean, so actually that is kind of a character traits we have. Certain people are more prone to sleepiness. So that is there. So and this certain points Buddha highlighted. So in order to have a good death, so what are in the Baddhaka Sutta? Buddha mentioned several reasons to have a good death. One is this, not to have that kind of a sleepiness, and not to have too much thinking, mental proliferation, papancha, and then not to get too much involved with the company, always talking and always having a kind of a company, and then always involved with many working, various tasks, always busy, no time to even breathe. So that is the Kammaramata. And then Basaramata, talking, Basaramata. Ganasanganikaramata is the having company. Then Papancharamata is the proliferation. Niddaramata is the sleepiness. So some people, they're fond of sleeping. Most of the time they're fond of sleeping. And after having breakfast, they want a nap. After having lunch, they want a nap. After having dinner, of course, they are hungry.
We have a feeling that if we die within our sleep,
then you may reborn as a who is sleeping, as a
Simra.
I'm not telling you as a kind of a definite thing. So basically, the serpents are more into that kind of a category where most of their time is, except the predatory time, searching of food, so they are simply sleeping. So if we have that kind of habit patterns, so we are promoting that nature in ourselves. So whatever we are habituating, that's what's going to happen. Say that's why now during the Buddha's time, certain people were practicing various ascetic practices. So some were practicing as a dog, so he behaved like a dog. Another person behaved like a cow. Complete habit patterns is like that. Yeah. So then they come and ask, because of this my ascetic practice, what would be the result? Then Buddha say, please don't ask that. So then again and again they request, so please answer the question. So what would be the result of this my ascetic practice, practicing as a dog? And Buddha mentioned that you become a dog, that's it. So whatever the habit pattern that we are mostly maintaining in our mind, so that becomes our most of the time achinna kamma. What we have habituated. Very difficult. That's why if we want to do something good to ourselves, not easy. So we have to use wisdom. Yeah.
Can we get that habit from the previous?
Can.
Right?
That's why if after knowing that I have this kind of a wrong habit pattern, it's harmful to me, I should not promote it. So I have to do some corrective measure. I have to take some corrective measure. That's why I am my own savior. There is no one else. Buddha can't do it. Buddha has shown the path. So if I know, I am more prone to anger, I am more prone to lust, I am more prone to conceit, more prone to sleepiness, I have to help myself. Definitely. So you are your own savior. So if you understood, I am too much sleeping, it's harmful, I have less time to work, less time to study, less time to meditate, to take some action. Correct yourself. Yeah. Because we don't have long time now. Very short lifespan we have. Say, because we are spending fair amount of time in sleeping. During the night time I am talking. Say 8 hours sleeping. During our whole lifespan. 8 hours sleeping, if you reduce that, deduct that, then very short lifespan. And that time also now spending a lot of time in the road and blah blah. Very short. Extremely short lifespan.
Coming here is a huge luxury, Swamin Wahanse.
Sorry?
Coming here is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
huge luxury.
Yeah. So make use of the time. That's why I mean, in a way, sometimes we have to drive ourselves. But sometimes it's not so. When things are happening smoothly, let it happen smoothly. No problem. So depending on the situation, we have to adjust ourselves. Yeah.
අවසරයි ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ. ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ මූලික කමඨහන ලෙස ආනාපාන භාවනාව කරන විට හුස්ම රැල්ල ඇතුළු වන පිටවන ස්ථානයට සිත තබා ගැනීම අසීරිය. නමුත් කයට සිත තැබූ විට හෘද ස්පන්දනය හොඳින් දැනී ශරීරයේ සෑම තැනකම එම ස්පන්දනය within brackets චංචල වීමක් ලෙස දැනේ. මෛත්‍රී භාවනාව බුදුගුණ භාවනාව වැනි අනුස්සති භාවනාවන් කරන විට මෙවැනි අත්දැකීමක් නොලැබේ. ගෞරවනීය ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ කරුණාවෙන් මෙය මට පහදා දෙන මැනවි. ඔබ වහන්සේ ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්නා වූ බෝධියකින් උතුම් නිර්වාණය අවබෝධ වේවා කියා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමි.
ඔව් කමන්නේ පුළුවන් එක කරන්න. දැන් ආනාපාන සතිය වඩද්දී කරන අමාරු නම් අපිට වෙන එකක් තෝරගත්තට වරදක් නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි තුමු මෛත්‍රී වඩද්දී එක වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් අර කමක් නැහැ. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. එහෙනම් අපිට බහැ ගන්න පුළුවන් තැනින් බහැ ගන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. දැන් සතිය දියුණු කරන්නයි අවශ්‍ය. සතිය දියුණු කරන්න එක ක්‍රමයක් කියලා නැහැ. ක්‍රම රාශියක් තියෙනවා. Tamanට අල්ලලා යන ක්‍රමය, Tamanට හොඳට සාර්ථක වෙන ක්‍රමය දිගට කරන්න. කළා ඒකෙන් සතිය අල්ල ගන්න, සතිය දියුණු කරගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ දියුණු වෙච්ච සතිය ඊළඟට පාවිච්චි කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම දැන් ඔය මයින්ඩ්ෆුල්නස් කියන එක, සතිය කියන එක වර්ධනය වෙන අපි හරි වේග ගතියක් එනවා. කියන්නේ අවදි ගතියක් එනවා. කියන්නේ රැට පවා නිින්ද යන එක අර දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මිනිස්සු ගෙදර පොඩු අරන් ගියත් නිදිනේ. ඒක වෙන්න බෑ ඇත්තටම. පොඩි දෙයකටත් ඇහැරෙන්න. සතිය දිනුනලා නම් පොඩි දෙයකටත් දොර අරිනකොටම ඇහැරෙන්න. බඩුවරකම් කරනකම් නිින්ද යන්න. ඒ වගේ ඒ කියන්නේ මේ සතිය කියන්නේ එක සමානයි වේක්ෆුල්නස් කියන්නේ. අවදි ගතිය. අවදිමත් බවයි සතියයි කියන්නේ දෙකක් නෙමෙයි එකක් වගේ. ඒ හින්දා මේ දැන් මේක අහන ප්‍රශ්නේ විශේෂයෙන්ම අහන්නේ මේ මොකක් හරි එකක් හරි ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා නේ. ආනාපාන සතිය මොකක්ද?
මෛත්‍රී භාවනා බුදුගුණ භාවනා වැනි අනුස්සති භාවනාවන් කරන විට ඒ වගේ අත්දැකීම නෑද?
නෑ. මොකද්ද ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ මුලින්?
කාය.
නැගෙන්නේ.
සංඝහස මට දැනෙන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම දැන් මම ආනාපාන සතිය භාවනාව කරනකොට මට හුඟක් වෙලාවට හුස්ම රැල්ල දිහා මට දැනෙනවා.
හරි.
හුස්ම රැල්ල දැනෙනවා, පිට වෙනවා, පිට වෙනවා දැනෙනවා. නමුත් එතන ඉන්න අමාරුයි. එතනදී අර පිට යන ගතිය වැඩි. නමුත්
දැන් දැනෙනවා කියන්නේ හුස්ම රැල්ල දැනිලා තියෙනවනේ නේද?
එහෙමයි සංඝ.
එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ ඉඳලක් තියෙනවා.
ඉඳලක් තියෙනවා වැඩි වෙලා නෙමෙයි. මොකද එහෙම ඉන්නකොට හිත පිට යන ගතිය වැඩි. නමුත් මම එතකොට ආපහු මම ඇතුළට හිත ගන්නවා. ඇතුළට හිත ගන්නකොට මට ප්‍රතිස්පන්දනය වැඩියෙන් දැනෙනවා.
කමන්නේ. එහෙම නෑ ඒක ටිකක් බලන්න. බලන්නේ.
එතනදි මට පුළුවන් මගේ ඇතුළ දිහා බලාගෙන ඉන්න. අර හිත පිට යන ගතිය අඩු වෙනවා. සහ ඔබ වහන්සේ කිව්වා වගේම මට අනිත් වෙලාවල් වලදී ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩ කරන වෙලාවලට මම
අතෙන්ට එනවා.
මම නිතරම මගේ ප්‍රතිස්පන්දනයට ඇතුළට යොමු වෙනවා. යොමු වෙලා එතනට හිත තියෙනවා. වෙන වැඩකට අවධානයෙන් දැන් අසුබානම හරි මොනවා හරි පොඩි දෙයක් කරනකොට මට හරි ලේසියෙන් ඇතුළට ගන්න පුළුවන්.
හරි. ඒක නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ හෘද ස්පන්දනය කියන එක තමයි කායික අභ්‍යන්තරික ක්‍රියාවලියක් නේ. ඒ කය ඇතුළට තමයි හිත එන්න තියෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කය ඇසුරු කරන හිතක් නේ අපේ තියෙන්නේ. අපේ හිත කය ඇසුරු කරනකොට වෙන දේවල් ඇසුරු කරනවා. බාහිරාවර්තී වෙච්ච හිතක් අපිට තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක දැන් කායානුපස්සනාවේදී ඕක අනිත් පැත්ත හැරෙනවා ටික ටික. පොඩ එළියට ගිය ගතිය වැඩි අඩු වෙලා ඇතුළට නැමිච්ච ගතිය, ඇතුළට බලන ගතිය, ඇතුළත් එක්ක ඉන්න ගතිය, කයත් එක්ක ඉන්න ගතිය වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒක හෘද ස්පන්දනය පාවිච්චි කළා වුණාට වරදක් නැහැ. ඔතන කළා බලන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ කොයි දේ වුණත් ඕක සියුම් වේවි. හෘද ස්පන්දනය පවා සියුම් වේවි. කියන්නේ තමාන්ට මුලදී නිකන් හොඳට ප්‍රබලව දැනේවි. සතිය වර්ධනය වෙනත් එකේ ප්‍රබලත්වයක් වැඩි වේවි. හැබැයි ඒක නිකන් සයිකල් එකක් තියෙනවා. දිගටම ප්‍රබලත්වය ඕම වැඩි වෙගෙන යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ යම් වෙලාවකදී අනිත් පැත්තට හැරෙන්න ගන්නවා. ඒක නිකන් තමාට නොදෙනී යන්න ගන්නවා. එහෙම වේවි. අනිත් එක ඕකෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න. මොකද්ද මේ දැන් ස්පන්දනයක් කියන්නේම තියෙන්නේ සයිකල් එකක් නේ, ভাইබ්‍රේෂන් එකක් නේද? ඒකට මෙතන තියෙන ඇතිවීමක් නැතිවීමක්. ඒක චුට්ටක් නිකන් ඒ ඇන්ගල් එකකින් බලන්න. සමහරට ඕක බලනකොට තව දේවලුත් කය දැනේ. දැන් අපි මෙතනින් ටිකක් බැහැ ගන්නවා. හොඳට සතිය ඉස්සරහට ගන්නවා. අපි තුල සංවේදී බව වැඩි වෙනවා. කයත් එක්ක ඉන්න අවධානය තියෙනවා එතකොට. ඊට අමතරව සමහරට දැනෙන්න පුළුවන් බ්ලඩ් සර්කියුලේෂන් දැනෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? තව මොනවා හරි තව කම්පැනි එකෙන් දැනෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවත් හොඳට බලන්න.
දා ගන්න ගියාම රැට මට විශේෂයෙන් මට යාර බ්ලඩ් සර්කියුලේෂන් එක හොඳට දැනෙනවා. අර විලානේ ඉන්නකොට හිටගෙන ඉන්නවට වැඩිය. ඒ වෙලාවට හොඳට දැනෙනවා මම ඒකෙම මට
නෑ. හොඳයි. කය ඇසුරේ කයෙන් හමු වෙච්ච යම්සේ අරමුණක් අපි හොඳට නිරීක්ෂණය කරනවා නම් එතනින් ගැඹුරට යන්න පුළුවන්. අපි දැන් පොතේ නොතිබෙන්න පුළුවන් මේක දැන් පොතේ ඕකනේ දැන් කට්ටිය කෑ ගහන්නේ මේ පිම්බීම හැකිලිම පොතේ නැහැ කියලා. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඉතින් කය ඇසුරේ ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන ස්වාභාවික ක්‍රියාවලියක් අපිට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතරේ කොයි එකක් දැන් කියන්නේ විපස්සනාවට අහවල් අරමුණු පරාසය කියලා නියමයක් නැහැ. මොකද අපිට අත්දකින්න හම් වෙන කොයි අරමුණක් සංකතයි. ඒක බලධාමින් හටගත්ත දෙයක්. ඉතින් අපිට තියෙන්නේ අරමුණු දිහා නිකන් මධ්‍යස්ථව බලන් ඉන්න තියෙන්නේ. එයා විසින් එයාගේ ක්‍රියාකලාපේ නැත්නම් එයාගේ බිහේවියර් එක එයා විසින්ම පෙන්වනවා. ඉතින් එතකොට අපිට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒ තුලින් නුවණක් දියුණු වෙනවා. ඉතින් පොතේ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේට ඒක ඔක්කොම අරමුණු ටික විස්තර කරනවා මොනවද නෑ. ඉතින් පෙන්වලා තියෙනවා ක්‍රොස් සෙක්ෂන් එකක්. පාඩම් තියෙනවා නැත්නම් කොටස් වලට කල්ලා පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා ධාතු ලක්ෂණ ටික පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව තව දේවල් ඉතින් මොයිකුත් දේවල් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකේ වරදක් නැහැ.
වැඩක් කර ඉන්නකොට භාවනාව නෙමෙයි වාඩිලා නෙමෙයි.
හරි.
ඒක ගමු ඒ වැඩේ කරන ගමනු උස්මත් දැනෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ දෙකම එතකොට වැඩ දෙකක් ඒකට කමක්
එතන බලන්න නිකන් අර තමන්ගේ අවධානය නිකන් ස්ප්ලිට් වෙලා නම් එතකොට චුට්ටක් පැටලෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔව්. එතෙන්දී තමයි කියන්නේ පහසු දෙයක තෝරගන්න. එතෙන්දී නිකන් තේරෙනවා නම් දැන් මේ හුස්ම ගන්න ගිහිල්ලා මම මේ වැඩේ පටලවා ගන්නවා කියන එකට ගියොත් එතනත් අවුල්. මට පුළුවන් හැබැයි දෙකම බලන්න නිකන් සමස්තයක් වශයෙන්.
එහෙම සමහර වෙලාවට කිව්වේ.
ඔව්. දැන් හිතන්න අපි ඩ්‍රයිව් කරනවා. ඩ්‍රයිව් කරද්දී මම ඕන්ට වඩා එතෙන්ට අවධානය යොමු කරලා නිකන් අතේ ස්පර්ශයට බලන්න ගියොත් එහෙම ඇක්සිඩන්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට මට තියෙනවා නිකන් ඕවරෝල් අවධානයක් තියෙනවා මුළු සිටුේෂන් එක ගැන. එතකොට ඉතින් අපි අර depending on the situation we have to maintain whatever the type of mindfulness. Overall
listening to Desana. Also I'm listening. I know I'm concentrating. But at the same time sometimes try.
කමක් නැහැ ඉතින් වරදක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ එතන අපේ කයට හිත පැමිණීමනේ. එයා පුරුදුලා ඉන්නවා මේ හුස්මත් එක්ක ඉන්න එතන මෙතන යන්නේ නැතුව වරදක් නැහැ ඒක. වරදක් නැහැ. කොහොම එන ගතිය අපිට ඊට පස්සේ හදලා ගන්න පුළුවන් මට ඕන දේ බලන්න. දැන් ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි කරන්නේ අතන මෙතන යන ගතිය වළක්වලා මෙයා මේකේ හිරව කරව ගත්තා වගේ දෙයක් තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ හැකියාව ඊළඟට ගන්නවා මට ඕන තැනට මං කියනවා දැන් ඔන්න දැන් ධනිස දිහා බලන්න. ආයි මෙයා රිටර්න් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ආනාපානෙට. මම නැවත හිත මෙතෙන්ට කරන්න මෙතන තීච්ච කන්සන්ට්‍රේෂන් මෙතෙන්ට එකතු වෙන්න ගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අන්න මේක දිහාම බලන්න පුළුවන්. අන්න ඒ වගේ අපි හදන්න ඕනේ මනසේ කුසලතාවයක් අපිට ඕන වැඩේ යාලුව කරවගන්න. ඒක තමයි සක්මනේ කරන්නේ ඕකනේ අපි. ඉස්සෙල්ලා දකුණු පාදයේ බලන්න. ඊට පස්සේ වම් පාදයේ බලන්න. ඊට පස්සේ දකුණු පාදයේ බලන්න. සම්පූර්ණ වෙනස් ක්‍රියාවලියක්. ස්ථානීය වශයෙන් ගත්තත් වෙනස්, අරමුණු වශයෙන් ගත්තත් වෙනස්. එතන අපේ මනස මෙහෙවීමක් අපි ට්‍රේන් කරනවා.
Thero Saranai, Most Venerable Swami Wahansa. This question is related to the present situation in the country. When I opened the YouTube to listen to Dhamma sermons, all the uprising, within brackets Aragalya, stories popped up. At the beginning I ignored them, but at home others watch news and speak about these incidents, and at one point all these happening overwhelmed me. Then I also started to watch YouTube videos of the incident from one after the other and waited for more. Naturally, I forgot the composure I had. Whatever the mindfulness I had is gone, and I was with the oppressed people mentally. No meditation happened. I knew it was not the thing I should be doing, but I couldn't come out of it for a few days. In such situations, how should we control our mind, Swami Wahansa? I was not angry with the ruling party, not there's underline for not, not angry with the ruling party, but was overwhelmed by the situation. Please advise on how to tackle such drastic situations as a yogi.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of a common thing that we all experience today. So we all have kind of a liking to the mother country. That we need to admit. So we have to look at from different angles. One thing is our life is kind of up and down. So you can't expect continuous progress. So I mean, declines happen. So we have to bear it sometimes. And on the other hand, the thoughts about the country appear like righteous. I need to have kind of a patriotic feeling, right? I need to have kind of a passion towards my country. Likewise, so we like to admire it, we like to accept it as a kind of a norm. So that is how we have that kind of a tendency. So, but on the other hand, say if we have an angry thought, we all say I don't need it. I am not. So I don't accept that as a kind of a norm of myself, right? I consider it as a kind of a intruder, so I need to get rid of it. Lust also we can say, okay, also not necessary. Likewise, so all the gross kind of defilements, we immediately can understand those are harmful. So I can try to be away from them. But the feelings about the country, thoughts about the country, thoughts about our health, thoughts about our relatives, thoughts about gains and fames, and even more subtle, how others are thinking about me. So those kind of thinking, thoughts. So those are very subtle thoughts. So and appear like righteous, appear like correct to think. Now, ultimately what happens is we end up with anger, we end up with frustration, we end up with worrying, regrets. So that is where, so we have to handle, especially in meditation, the gross kinds of defilements and the middle kinds of defilements and the subtle kind of defilements. So gross defilements according to Buddha are the more morality related ones, doing some wrong actions using the body, words and the mind. So that is very much the morality. So once we are settled that part, then we are having the middling kind of defilements. So those are the anger, ill will, lust, some cruel thoughts, that sort of things. So that's also we can accept, understand easily. Those are not useful, harmful, etc. And then are coming the subtle kinds of defilements. Those are the thoughts related to the country, thoughts related to the, say, the health, thoughts about my, say, relatives, gains and fames, and about my reputation, and those kinds of very subtle defilements. So that also has to handle. So when we are able to handle that, that indicates, okay, mind has fairly settled, so you can maintain a kind of a quiet mind. Mind does not talk too much. So when you are able to experience that kind of an inner silence, kind of an absence of thoughts, so completely silence mind, assume that you are now able to maintain that, and now assume that you are watching this news, going to YouTube, whatever it is, and at that time, yes, you also get little bit angry and anxious, maybe kind of resentment, but you can quickly return. That's a kind of an advantage. So it's true that, okay, you are little concerned about the situation. You also get little bit of kind of stressed, but you can recover. You can recover quickly. So I can't say therefore we have to completely ignore everything and just mind my own business. Good if we can do, but I mean, as country people, no, I mean, we have to be vigilant about the situation. But at the same time, we should be able to recover quickly rather than too much involved with it, because we can get a little bit of update about the country situation. That's it, not too much involved. So as you are mentioning, so when you go to YouTube, so actually I myself go to it, and as you said, I mean, there are more tempting things are coming, more and more.
And Swami,
Yeah,
Swami Hansa, like if you very, I mean, if you have kammasakata samadhi,
Samadhi,
like,
yes.
always if you bring the karma into your mind,
Correct.
then looking at, like, people who are suffering, if you can bring yourself, oh, this person would have done something wrong, that's why, and why am I suffering today, because
Correct.
what we had, if you
Yes.
can keep on thinking about that all the
Correct.
time, when such situations come, we can think about it.
Think
it's,
about that.
It's whatever.
And the other thing is akusala samapatti.
Yeah.
See, you are admiring someone else's harsh words. Better he told that. So I am accepting. I am sort of confirming his behavior.
Yeah.
So we are unknowingly we give a kind of approval from myself to someone else's bad behavior, harsh behavior, harsh words.
We are accruing more bad
Exactly.
karma for us.
Bad karma for us. Now, say what's this ping anumodana, punya anumodana means. So we are
Sharing.
appreciating, sharing someone else's good deed.
Same way, yeah.
How about the opposite? I mean, don't think that it is not possible. It is possible. Oh, කව අනුමෝදන් වෙනවා. කාගේවත්. මොකද? අනේ
accepting it. By accepting, I mean,
not only accepting, by approving. Yeah. So assume that someone is blaming and killing or harming, blaming and all these things to another person. Okay, now I am just watching it. And internally I feel, yes, it should be done. This fellow has to be punished and blah 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 blah. So I am approving it. So internally, what's the kind of a feeling that I have? You also have a kind of a harsh feelings, right? Not a kind of soft feeling, no. So inner peace is not there, but I am become little arrogant, rather not arrogant, and angry, not soft basically. So we are doing akusala samapatti in that sense. So we can do that part also. We can, as we appreciate the good deeds, the joy part in the kusala samapatti, in the punyanumodana, on the other side, we can do the opposite as well. We can approve someone else's wrong deed as well.
ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ එතකොට කැරල්ලට ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්න මිනිස්සු සේරම ඔය අකුසල සමාපත්තිය කරනවා.
Exactly.
So, I mean, what are we developing? We are developing anger, we are developing hatred.
Then
So,
දුටුගැමුණු රජතුමා කොහොමද එතකොට කරේ නැද්ද අකුසල සමාපත්තිය?
ඒක තමයි. So that's another question. Actually, he was regretting. ඒක off කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. I mean, that's what something. So people were. So at the end, you can bring it to me. So at the end of his life, so he was regretting. And then monks and others actually somehow changed his mind. Something
came
like
and
that,
reminded him of the previous
so
good
thing
deeds.
So that is the Lonapala Sutta you can think of. Say when you have done something more good deeds and still you have done something bad deeds. So if the balance is account balance is into the good side.
If it is plus.
No debts. You don't need to take a loan then. You have enough balance. Then you are in good side. So basically, I mean, that's what we need to understand. I mean, so we can have enough reasons to get angry, and it's okay to get angry. And it's righteous. I mean, they are wrong. I am correct. Likewise, we can sort of argue. But on the other hand, we are burning internally. So that's why, I mean, if you refer certain suttas, say Kakachupama Sutta, you can remember. So Buddha mentioned, now he has given an extreme example. There are bandits, so they are using a sword with two-sided hands. Now they are using it and cutting limb by limb. So there Buddha mentioned, even at that time, if you are making kind of an angry thought, if you are making a revenging thought, so then you are not understood, you haven't understood my sermon, you haven't understood my deshana. So at that time also, try to live mindfully, try to live with loving kindness. So this is a kind of an extreme example he has given, and then he mentioned, keep this as a role model. Buddha has mentioned the Kakachupama example. So at that time, Buddha has mentioned the Kapajupama example. So likewise, monks are remembering to another monk. This Buddha has mentioned this. So likewise, thing is, ultimately we are going to account for what we do. We can. You probably have heard about the Yodha Jiva Sutta, talking about a soldier. So sometimes we admire, going for the sake of the country, for the sake of the nation, you are going to war. So what would the result? Difficult. These things are, it's not the way that we think the results are. What we, if we are going with the mentality that I am going to kill the enemy, you can imagine what's the mentality I have. On the other hand, you have a different kind of mentality. I am going to save the innocent people. You can turn it. You have to turn it. So, are you going with anger to get a revenge, or are you going to safeguard? So difficult. These are very. It's very difficult to maintain these mentalities. So, kind of a sharp edge.
And when you are killing, you can't feel I'm going to save the people. So anyhow, need to get the killing taken out.
Yeah. That's why it's very difficult to justify. So and then think, I have done the correct thing by killing another person. It's very difficult to justify. So that's why Buddha mentioned it's kind of a ahinsavada, where they are bad people. There are maybe rude people, there are maybe wrong people, but that's the way of the nature, way of the world. You can't expect the whole world to be virtuous. Majority of the world is not virtuous. That's the majority. We can't expect everybody to accept the 5 precepts, to follow 5 precepts. Cannot happen. And Buddha himself mentioned, I am like a elephant gone to a war. There are different directions. They are shooting maybe arrows, putting hot water, and you can imagine. Even ruthless. If you consider even the past war, now people are hiding and shooting, but they are not like that. They are in the real battle. So even Buddha mentioned, I am like an elephant in that battlefield. So people from different people, they are shooting and shouting and all these things. So that is the nature of the world. The whole majority of the world is not virtuous. But I am patient with that situation. So actually, we, as Buddhists, as practicing Buddhists, we have to go in kind of against the grain.
So when I practically මට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් මම හැමතිස්සෙම ගිහිල්ලා බෝමලුව සුද්ධ කරනවා. ඉතින් එතකොට වවුල්ලු මේ දවස්වල බෝගෙඩි කාලා හරියට බෝමලුව ජරා කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ තාප්ප සේරම. ඉතින් ඒවට කූඹිත් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා. දැන් මම වතුර දාලා පොවදනකොට මගේ අදහස අරක සුද්ධ කරන්න. මට කොහොමදවත් භූමි මරන්න කියලා හිතුවිල්ලක් නැහැ. හැබැයි වතුර දාලා වැටෙනකොට භූමි මැරෙනවත් ඇති. එතකොට තමයි මම හිතුවේ නැති උනත් ඒක මැරෙනවා කියලාම දන්නවා.
නෑ. ඒක දෙයක් නෑ. The main intention is the cleaning. No, you don't have an intention to kill ants.
Yeah.
So if you had a kind of ant killer or pesticide or something like that, then of course you have to chetana. So otherwise, no problem. So even Buddha has mentioned to clean the cobwebs. So even to the monks, Buddha didn't go to a kind of very extreme kind of situation. Rather, he accepted. As human beings, we have to clean the garden, or we have to clean the kuti, the residence. At that time, one thing that he has mentioned is considerate about their lives. So whenever you are using a broom or whatever it is, so try to not to purposely kill them. Or if possible, use a kind of a direction so that you can remove them out, if possible. He didn't mention that since they are there, don't clean it. So very practical in that sense. So we have to clean. Clean කරන්න කියලා බුදුහාමුදුරු කියන්නේ. මේක සුද්ධ කරන්න, සුද්ධ කරද්දී කියන්නේ පුළුවන් තරම් ඉතින් උත්සාහවන්ත වෙන්න මේ සත්තුන්ව මරන්න නැතුව ඉන්න. අනිත් එක තමයි අර ඒක මට මතකයි මේ clean up කියලා. මෙහෙම කළා ඔක්කොම මැරෙන පැත්තට කරන්නේ නැතිව එකතු වුණාම මැරෙනවනේ. පොළොවට තද වුණාම නැත්නම් මෙහෙම උඩට මෙහෙම කළා විසි කළා දාන්න කියලා. කොස්සේ. ඒතකොට ඒ සත්තුන්ට ඉතින් එළියට හරි යන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැතුව මේක නිකන් අපවිත්‍රව තියන් ඉන්න කියලා කියලා නැහැ සත්තු ඉන්නයි කියලා.
There are worms and we kill them.
Yeah.
That is, the intention is to kill the worm.
How about save the child?
Saving the child, but by killing worms. So
That's the thing. So those are kind of arguable. It depends. It depends on the intention and again the effort that you are using. Say if you are, assume that you are killing an ant and you are killing an elephant. Which one is more worse? More powerful? In terms of the consequences, elephant, because you have to plan it. You have to put a lot of effort. It's too much. Many millions of intentions you have to use in order to kill an elephant. But and boom, done. So it's a killing, but so likewise there are kind of differences. Therefore, that's how you are slowly refining your sila. First, you don't kill elephants, and then you are not killing say bulls and then hens and cocks, and ultimately you are not even killing a mosquito, even the ant. So likewise, you can just for explanation I am telling. So likewise, you can scale down. You can refine your sila. That's why Buddha mentioned කද තියෙන ලස්සන මේ පාලි වාක්‍යයක් මේ මොකද්ද අනුමත්තේසු වජ්ජේසු බය දසාමි. Even a little kind of a breakage or transgression of a little precept, so you feel little, not to better avoid it. So that's kind of a feeling. Internally you have a kind of an inner yearning, so I should not do even a slightest mistake. That's a kind of honest reflection. Likewise, we have to correct ourselves, refine our sila. So that's the kind of an approach we have to take. Yeah. Oh, take them. Effect එක වැඩි නේ. Effect එක strategies පාවිච්චි කරන අරවා මේවා ඉතින් ඔක්කොම වැඩි ලොකු සතෙක් මරන්න ගියාම. ඒකයි මම ගත්තේ example එක. Like ant killing and elephant killing is a completely different thing. Killing is the task, but in terms of the gravity wise, killing an elephant requires a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, a lot of effort. So that means too much gravity. So heavy kamma.
About her question, Swami Hansa, if the doctor thinks I'm going to save the child, not I'm going to think that I'm going to kill the worms.
Yeah.
This is a medication to save the child. So you can just forget about the killing part.
Yeah, that's what I also immediately mentioned. So basically you have more kind of a compassionate feeling towards the patient. Patient is a human being. Patient is a human being, and your more priority is that. So all our actions have some negative parts. You can't avoid it. So even when you are walking, you are killing bacteria, and we can't go to that level. And there's one example. Venerable Moggallana is the one with the highest psychic powers. Okay, so he has taken a little bit of water, and he has seen a lot of these very slight life available there. And then he approached the Buddha and asked, so there are animals, or rather the creatures here, so by drinking, am I making a kind of the killing? Then Buddha said no in the sense, because you just keep it to the typical conventional level. Then how are you going to live? If you, by the way, if you feel that there are animals or mosquito larva or whatever it is, if it is visible, then you better avoid it. That's a norm, acceptable norm to the whole society. So So Buddha didn't give a kind of an extreme level that you have to take a microscope and see. No, it's not practical. I mean, like the Jaina Mahavira did. So Buddha didn't go to that level. So Buddha is more pragmatic in that sense. Yeah.
When you give antibiotics also, it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same thing. You don't
Yeah.
see the microorganisms.
Exactly.
So that feeling doesn't come as you are killing worms.
Yeah. So that's why always try to change your attitude, kind of the perception that you are treating a patient, you are helping a human being. So he is now suffering. So then the inner intention becomes more biased towards that side. And on the other hand, so as human beings, try to harm the whole animal realm to the minimum. I mean, we can't completely avoid it, but try to harm it less and less. That's all we can do. And don't come to human realm again.
Yes.
So I mean, coming here, so this is a sensual realm. No? So I mean, that is why I mean, even how we live and what we eat today, how many animals have been killed in order to prepare our food. So that's the situation we have to face. So I mean, if we think like that, again we are going to a kind of a stream. But we need to admit, okay, this is the situation. So I better minimize the harm that I do to the whole society, to the whole animal realm. So likewise, I am trying to refine my sila, have more compassion, and not to come again, if possible. And that's a kind of a inner motive that Buddha is giving. So this is the human realm, this is the sensual realm, conditioned realm, and you can't expect the perfection here.